about Star Wars? How many of you have seen the new one, The Rise of Skywalker? Okay, is it good? Okay, I've heard mixed stuff. I've not seen it yet. I'm a really big Star Wars fan, and I've not seen it yet because I've written a fan fiction of my imaginary version of what Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker is. And I didn't want to watch it until after I'd shared it with you, and then I'm going to go and see it tomorrow and find out how right I got it. So that's going to be fun. Just a word of warning, it is a fan fiction, so it's stupid, okay? So if you've seen it, and you're like, that's nonsense. I know, I've written a really stupid fan fiction version, and it's just full of sort of moments of fan fiction that don't really make sense and shouldn't be there, and it's full of bad decisions. But it's a fan fiction. It's my version of what I think the film might be. So here we go. Let's see how it goes. See how right I got it. A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. Brackets, Joz Norris's ridiculous fan fiction version. Close brackets. The dead speak! I thought it would be a spooky way to begin. It already sounds quite silly. Emperor Palpatine's back, basically. Do you remember Emperor Palpatine from Return of the Jedi? I put him in it. He's back. He's presumably like a zombie, or he's back anyway. He's back from the dead. Possibly he never died. It might be he never actually died, or he's a clone. It doesn't really matter. I'll remind you again, it's a fan fiction. And I know what some of you are probably thinking, surely that completely ruins the first 6 films of the saga, doesn't it? Including the middle 3 that people actually like and are quite sort of important in cinema history. Yes, but it's my fan fiction version. The other thing you're going to flag up, where's he been hiding all this time? I have thought about that. I don't really want to get too bogged down in too much detail because, again, like I said, this is a fan fiction and it's not the actual plot of the film. That would be nonsense. But basically, if it bothers you that much, you need me to explain it. He spent 30 years on a magic planet. Maybe magic. I mean, we've never really sort of said that magic is a thing in Star Wars before, but he's there and I don't know if it's really magic, but you need like a magic talisman to get there because it's in like another dimension or something. Don't worry about it, it's probably fine. Anyway, so he's back and he's on this magic planet and he's building star destroyers with his magic, even though they are science. He's building those, and these star destroyers aren't just star destroyers, they're actually Death Stars. Who likes the Death Star? Do you remember A New Hope with the Death Star? Did you like that? Do you remember in Return of the Jedi when they had a Death Star? Who likes that? Do you remember in The Force Awakens when there was like a big Death Star? Do you remember that? That was good, wasn't it? Who likes Rogue One? Who likes Rogue One? Do you remember all the stuff with the Death Star? This film's got 1,000 Death Stars in it. There's 1,000 Death Stars. They're all Star Destroyers, but they're Death Stars now. So they're there. Kylo Ren turns up. Basically, Kylo Ren turns up to the magic planet that's hidden in another dimension to talk to the zombie Emperor Palpatine. I know, it's nuts. And he he goes to find out why Emperor Palpatine's in the film now. He says, why are you in the film? Aha! He says, hang on, if you were behind everything all along and you're running everything, then who was Supreme Leader Snoke? A few of you are probably thinking that. Who was Supreme Leader Snoke? What was all that about? Ah, says the Emperor, I've got an answer for that. I grew him in a pot. I grew him in a pot. What? Says Kylo Ren, what are you talking about? I grew him in a pot. I don't know. It's a fan fiction. I grew him in a fucking pot. Look, there he is. He points. Kylo Ren looks behind him and sees, sure enough, Supreme Leader Snoke was grown in a pot and he's dead now and he need never be mentioned again. Oh yeah, fair enough, says Kylo Ren. Yeah, you grew him in a pot. Yep, says Zombie Emperor Palpatine. Now, would you like 1,000 Death Stars? We leave them to it. We're back to our heroes. We find out what's going on with our heroes. What are they up to? Rey is completing her Jedi training, but she's now completing her Jedi training after Luke Skywalker's sacrifice in The Last Jedi. She's completing her training with Princess Leia. Since embracing her role as the mysterious Jedi mentor, Princess Leia has adopted a strange new personality, where she now only speaks in extremely vague sentences that sort of mean nothing and could feasibly be a response to literally anything that anyone else has said. She does this so much that we're often reliant on the characters she's interacting with saying things like, I know you're only saying that to protect me, in order for us to understand what she actually meant. It's very odd. I don't know why she's behaving in this way. I guess it's because of the sort of mysteries of the Force that she's now adopted. Again, it is a fan fiction, so it doesn't really matter. Obviously, the actual film wouldn't treat one of the most beloved characters in film, portrayed by a tragically recently deceased iconic actor, in such a perfunctory and offensive way as I'm suggesting here. It's weird though, she behaves in a weird way in this film. Oh, later on, she becomes so mysterious that halfway through one scene, she literally just sort of wanders off screen without saying anything, and one of the characters she's left behind turns to the other one and says, I think she's going to heroically sacrifice herself, and we don't see her again. Imagine if they did that! Imagine if they did that! Okay, so, what else is going on? That's Princess Leia and Rey, what else is going on? There's so much going on. There's so much going on. We've got all our heroes, they're all up to stuff, all our favourite characters are up to lots of different subplots going on. Rose, you know, there's so much going on. There's just loads of stuff going on. So Rey, Finn, Poe, Chewbacca and C-3PO go to another desert planet. It's not Tatooine, it's another desert planet, so they go to that. Does anyone else think it's weird that all the planets in Star Wars have one biome? I think it's odd. And like, if anyone goes to a planet, everyone knows where on that planet to find them. Everyone will be like, we'll go and hide on that planet, and then the bad guys will be like, oh, they're on Endor, and then they go to Endor and they find them. Imagine trying to find someone on Earth. They're on Earth. Oh, great. Anyway, doesn't matter. They go to this desert planet. Oh, this is exciting. You'll like this. This is one for the fans. It's at this point that our heroes run into none other than the legendary rebellion general, Lando Calrissian! Who likes Lando? Do you remember Lando? Lando's in it! Let's hear it for Lando! Woo! Yeah, Lando's in it, guys. They've met Lando! I've got a bad feeling about this, he says. Lando's in it! Woo! Let's hear it for Lando! Our heroes continue on their journey. He does do more. He does a bit more. I put a bit later on. Poe is in the rebel base and he's having a sort of a crisis of confidence. Who shows up? It's Lando! Lando shows. Let's hear it for Lando! See, he's in it. He's in it. Oh, General Hux. Remember General Hux? What's going on with General Hux? You remember him? He's the character that we sort of introduced in The Force Awakens, and we introduced him by sort of making him quite strongly analogous to Adolf Hitler. Do you remember him? He's now good. He's just good now. Don't worry about the implications of that for too long, because he's quite quickly killed and replaced by a new character about whom we know nothing. So there's him. Oh, I've put in, there's a sort of a subplot. I don't know why I've put this in, but I've put in that there's a subplot just to quickly prove that Poe and Finn are not gay. Just to quickly kind of clarify that, because not because it's not okay to have gay characters in Star Wars, but like it's an inclusive universe, so it can. Why the leads? You know? Why the leads? Why does it need to be the lead? Like anyone can be gay in Star Wars, you know? So why the leads? Like the whole point of Last Jedi was like anyone can be a Jedi, so like anyone can be gay. Anyone in Star Wars can be gay. Why the leads? Why not like those two over there? Those two in the background. They could be gay. They could be gay. Anyone can be gay. So those two soldiers in the background. But just to clarify, Poe and Finn are not gay. We put in a subplot. There's a scene where Poe asks a woman if he can kiss her. It does sound clunky. It does sound clunky. But it's just so we know. There's a scene, he meets a woman, he goes, can I kiss you? She goes, no. But the audience goes, not gay. Great, cool. I get it. So that's there. Rey is the Emperor's granddaughter. That's just a fun, stupid thing I've put in. I know that undoes sort of the most interesting storytelling choice from The Last Jedi, but I've just put it in there. Also, I know granddaughter's an odd choice, considering she's sort of quite a bit younger than Kylo Ren, who is supposed to be the grandson of a character who was about 10 when the Emperor was about 60. So she should be his great-great-granddaughter, really. But that's a lot of generations, you know? I don't want my audience thinking about that many generations, so I'd rather have it that he presumably impregnated a woman that was young enough to conceive when he was about 100 and looked like a little frog. I'd rather people think about that than that they have to think about like great-great-granddad. Who gives a shit? So yeah, he did that. What else have I put in? We're getting to the big climax now. Oh, Han Solo's in it. Why not? Why not? He's not a Force ghost. He's just sort of there. He's sort of like a memory. He's just in it because like one of the other characters remembers him. I know that's not really a thing. That's never really been a thing. It's like nobody in this film remembers like Admiral Akbar, and then he's there. Nobody goes like, oh, Admiral Akbar. And now he's over there. That doesn't happen, but it does happen with Han Solo because in my fan fiction version they can get Harrison Ford. And why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you if you can? So Han Solo's there. His role in it isn't to literally look down the camera and say this film is dedicated to the memory of Carrie Fisher, but it's to sort of imply that. So he does that. Right, Rey fights the zombie emperor, and the zombie emperor's very powerful. He's very, very powerful. So she passes out and falls down on the floor, and then looks up and sees the stars. And then she looks at the stars, and she hears, she starts to drift into a sort of a dream dimension, and she hears a familiar voice. Misa coming to help you fight the bad guys, says Jar Jar Binks. I know you're all wondering when he was going to come back into. Misa Jar Jar Binks, and Misa come back from the dead. Or maybe I was never dead, or maybe I was a clone or something. Misa, actually the greatest Jedi of all time. And Misa was living on a magic planet in a hidden dimension for 30 years, pulling all of the strings. Misa grew Princess Leia and Luke Skywalker in a pot. Look, there they are, dead in a big pot. Misa was the brains and heart of the entire Star Wars saga. Jar Jar Binks puts all his life energy into Rey, and she comes back alive. She's filled with the mystical life force of the almighty Jedi Master Jar Jar Binks. She gets back to her feet. Zombie Emperor Palpatine is horrified. How does she have so much power? And then she sort of wobbles her face and goes like... And it's so powerful that she destroys the Emperor. She completely destroys the Emperor and all of the Star Destroyers. Everything's great. And then Kylo Ren arrives and they fuck until he is dead. How right did I get it? Yeah, right.